giving yourself so much grace. Nobody knows what they're doing at first. Even if they act like it, community is huge. I think just like being around other people that remind you you're not alone.
Sometimes if you just insert yourself, somewhere, that's fine too. I think with family, obviously, you have that community. If you're blessed with that, having, a sister and having a brother and a mom and, in-laws that really check in, but also church family too is major.
I feel like first-time moms put so much pressure on themselves. They don't want anybody to help them also because only they know what their baby needs. And it's just not true. It is not true. Let people help you. Obviously have discernment on who helps, but let people come over and do your laundry, cook a meal for you, hold your baby so you can just go take a nap. I think that's really important, is allowing people to love you.
Welcome to Let's Talk About That, the podcast where we deep dive into Sunday's message and explore your questions. I'm your host, Aston Kank, and I'm excited to share this journey with you. Whether you're a longtime member of The Orchard or a first-time visitor, Let's Talk About That is your space to explore, reflect, and connect. Join us as we navigate the intricacies of faith, spirituality, and daily life, seeking to understand how the wisdom shared on Sundays can be applied to our modern challenges. So, grab a cup of coffee, find a comfortable space, and let's dive in together. This is Let's Talk About That, where the conversation about Sunday's message never stops. Well, welcome back to Let's Talk About That. Here we are with week 2 of our July Momcast takeover. And man, last week's conversation with our Brantford Momcast was so good. Those ladies are amazing. And I know that I personally took away some really great knowledge nuggets away with me. But you guys are in for a special treat because today I'm sitting down with 4 moms from our Live Oak location, and I know this is going to be another amazing conversation. So, ladies, how you doing today?
Great.
Got a little baby with us too. Oh, it's a good day when a baby's in the house. Yes. So yeah, why don't you ladies just go around the table and just tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Hi, I'm Kelly. I am married to Matthew, the location pastor in Live Oak, and a mom of 4, ranging from 7 years old to 3 months, who's in my arms if you hear some squeaking.
Oh, sweet baby. All right. Well, so glad you're here, Miss Kelly.
Yes, I'm Hallie. I'm married to Daniel. We attend, like Aston said, in Live Oak, and we have 2 little girls, a almost 4-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Busyness around your house. Yeah. So it's little girls, I'm sure lots of tea parties, lots of playing.
Lots of nail polish and makeup. Yeah, actually, she got some of Kelly's kids' makeup yesterday.
I was like, what does Blakely have on her face? And they're like, she found some makeup. I'm like, perfect. Yes. She was working on contour.
Never too young to work on that.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Hanna.
And I'm Hanna Moreno, and I am married to Eddie Moreno. We go to the Live Oak location. And I have 3 kids.
Okay.
Mia, Eleanor, and Milo. We call her Ellie, our middle. Mia is 6, Ellie is 4, and Milo is 2. So,
oh my goodness.
Like Kelly and Hallie, we are busy.
Yeah.
Oh, and we're very girl heavy.
Yes.
Yeah. These poor boys.
Yeah. Okay.
When they're all running around having a good time, the boys are just
they're outnumbered. Like every night, every group night on Monday, it's like this whole flock of girls.
Yeah.
And then these little boys just trying to figure out how they're going to cope.
Because they're little. So Meets and Milo's 2.
Maddox is 1.
Okay. Yeah. They're just like trying to figure out what's going on with these girls. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love it. Well, so I have the first question. We'll just jump right in. How has motherhood changed what identity in Christ means to you, especially since we're all in that busy and exhausting season?
I think because I have a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old, I've been through different stages. They're all little, but during different like phases of motherhood, I feel like you learn different things about yourself. So I feel like I've had to learn to lean more into him in times where like I don't have as much patience or I'm struggling or feeling overwhelmed. So it really, here recently too, just with all of them getting older and, we're in different seasons, spending more time in the word of like, what is my calling as a mother?
That's good. Yeah. I love that. What about you ladies?
Yeah, I would say that partly my identity has kind of shifted more from what I accomplished to like, I'm his no matter what. And like, I don't have to find my identity in productivity because Otherwise, I'm like, okay, I got to get this done. I got to get this done.
Yeah.
Most of the time, none of that gets done and more gets done and that needs to be done.
Yeah.
You know, but just God meeting me in the ordinary moments of whether it's making bottles or folding laundry or school drop off, but like quiet time isn't always quiet.
Yeah.
You know,
So Chip has renamed it like private worship because that's truly what it is. Yeah.
so just finding him where you are, you know. So
Yeah. Love that.
I would say that for me, I definitely started off motherhood a little bit insecure. I was very nervous to be a mom. I know that sounds weird, but I was. And so understanding who I am in Christ and that my confidence comes from that.
Yeah.
And I don't have to have it all together as a mom because none of us can. It's just not possible. That's why we need Jesus. So I would say that was number one for me, because then I was like, okay, I was called to be their mom. God literally chose me
Yeah.
and chose these two girls to be my daughters.
Yeah.
And so just kind of having that assurance in motherhood, it kind of takes the pressure off,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
So it was like insecurity and a lot of pressure that I put on myself.
Mhm.
And so that kind of just lifted that off most days.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the devil sneaks in there.
100%. Yeah.
So I would say that was big, and just depending on him, not
Yeah.
my own
Yeah.
strength.
Yeah.
That's true.
I love that you said whenever reminding yourself that God chose you to be their mom. I remember like the first second they put like Jax on me, it was like, oh my gosh, God has gifted me with this. And constantly, you know, he's 4. So reminding myself of like, all right, God has given me this gift. Therefore, he's going to equip me. I just have to press in.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
All right. So I have another question. How, you know, we all have social media. I feel like this season of motherhood, it's a little bit more challenging for us because we're constantly seeing, you know, the quote unquote perfect house, perfect meal prep, all the things. So how do you guys combat the comparison trap, especially on social media?
Yeah, I think you have to have some self-awareness about whether or not you're doing it, number one. Because sometimes I think we can kind of do it unknowingly.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, we're not happy.
Yeah.
We want this, we want that. And it's like, where's all this coming from? So for me, I haven't been on Instagram since August of last year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm on Facebook here and there, but for me, I've had to actually step away from it.
And sometimes, depending on your job, you don't really have that option depending on what you do.
I've just tried to be very strict with myself on the parameters for it, because I found that if I have it, I'm just going to scroll. And it's really hard for me to block that out. So I would say it's not very profound, but that's what I had to do
Yeah.
for now.
Is there a certain like category that you would catch yourself going down rabbit holes on when it came to like motherhood?
Yes.
Okay.
Just anything that had to do, well, one, the organization stuff.
Love it.
But not realistic, because who's going to spend thousands of dollars on containers to put everything in it?
Mine was the fridge organization. Like I went crazy on like, my husband's like, no one even sees our fridge. I'm like, I know, but it looks nice. It makes me feel good.
And then, you know, homemaking has become very trendy.
Yeah.
And it's great. But like I said earlier,
God called you to be the mom of your kids. And that doesn't mean
you always have to make sourdough
Yeah.
and everything from scratch and homemade goldfish and fruit snacks. And so I just like was freaking out, because I'm like, how do people have this much time to cook all this or do this? And it's like, hold up, I don't have to.
Yeah.
There's a balance. So that was typically my rabbit holes, is like all things mom and homemaking and organization. I'm like, this is not sustainable for me.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future a little more.
And not realistic either.
Yeah.
I feel like comparison is the thief of joy.
Absolutely.
And I have to remind myself that. And I do think it's because of social media. It's like you see all the things, but like as a mom, you're like, am I doing enough? Am I going out of my way to be creative enough to do special memories, especially like around the holidays? You know, you can do all the things.
Yeah.
But like you said earlier, if you're their mom, God knows that you are going to be their mom. You don't have to be a perfect mom. And social media and comparison can bring up that insecurity. So we just have to remind ourselves of that.
Yeah, I kind of have two parts of that. So like one, I try to remind myself on the comparison side of it that that's someone's highlight reel. Like they're not posting the trenches. When we're in the trenches, we're comparing ours to their highlight reel. And then social media, I find myself being very irritated with my kids as I'm scrolling often. You know, because I'm like, they're interrupting I'm not thinking that. But when I look back, I'm like, I was so short with her because I was scrolling and she interrupted me.
Yeah.
You know, so just putting the phone away, turning it upside down, where you can't even see I just find myself mindlessly clicking on Instagram. I'm like, I don't even need it for anything.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
I will even do it. Like if I was going on my phone to send someone a text, I'd go to Instagram instead. Or like,
So you subconsciously just move there.
Yeah. I put my Facebook and my Instagram on the very last page of my apps in a folder. So I had to swipe and go in the folder, and the folder says, think about it. That's so good. I mean, I'll be honest, sometimes I don't think about it.
Yeah. It was a book that was recommended to me by Katie Glover. And it was, I wish I had a bigger kitchen. It was like the 10 lies in motherhood that you typically have.
Good.
And it goes through, I wish I had a bigger kitchen. I wish I had a better husband, yada, yada, yada. And one of them was like comparing yourself. And so she had several questions she listed off. And it's like, are they in a different season than me? Mm-hmm. Do they maybe have more help at this time in their life? And it was just like, I recommend that book because there was a lot of practical questions you could ask yourself to kind of nip the comparison in the bud and think truthfully.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
that's true. You never know. Like if somebody might seem that they have the perfect life, perfect motherhood journey. Yeah. But you just don't know.
I love that. All right. So we talked about, motherhood. Kind of want to transition and talk about what do you guys right now in the trenches think is the hardest part of like managing the mental and physical load of a young family? And then how do you bring those things to the Lord?
I think it's easy to feel anxious and stressed and overwhelmed, especially we all have like little ones, and so just like being caught up in the everyday, like laundry, dishes, we've got places to go, we've got appointments, practices, but to be intentional with your time, yes, with your family, but also modeling to your kids that it is important to spend time with the Lord.
That's good.
Because I feel like if your schedule is so spread thin, then it's like, oh, we don't have time to make it to small group tonight. Or we don't have time to make it to, we can go to the later service and then you just end up missing it, whatever. So like really modeling that for your kids, but also being intentional with your own walk with God and asking him, hey, help me shift my mindset, please. Help me have a better mindset to be their mom type of thing. Because we can get anxious. We can get stressed,
Yeah. What about you ladies?
I think that just like the days where your mind never shuts off, you're like having, and not even just cooking dinner or like making sure diapers are stocked or school events or appointments or whose shoes don't fit, and we need more socks and just all the things like learning that my prayers don't always have to be polished. I think, it's just like, just in the moment, like, Lord, I cannot do this today unless you step in, and so just not thinking like it has to be a private worship time or quiet time, but just in the trenches, in the moments, just giving it to him.
Yeah.
I also find that the Lord doesn't always give me strength that I need for next week, but like today, I need it. I need it right now. Yeah.
So that was something. It reminds me of like that story about the manna, how he's going to give you exactly what you need for today. And I feel like that's where I catch myself is thinking about 2 weeks from now. And my husband's like, reel it in. You got to survive today first, honey, before you can look at next week. Absolutely. Yeah.
So he faithfully gives us what we need in that moment.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. And I would say, I would definitely agree with both of their input and just, you might get one thing done on your to-do list. You might get 4 or you might get nothing. And so just be flexible, take the pressure off of yourself.
Yeah.
I think if we're all honest, most moms, that's why we feel anxious because we put this pressure on ourselves to get it all done and do it perfectly. But it's kind of like Kelly said, just like give it to the Lord and just be real honest with him.
Yeah.
That you don't have to fluff it up at all. Because sometimes you just don't have the bandwidth to fluff it up.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes you can only say Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows our heart.
And so just finding those moments to really be honest with God about where I'm at in that moment and just make it to nap time.
Yeah.
Yes.
When my kids stop napping,
Oh, yeah. No.
I'll have to figure out a different tactic. But
All right, so I have a question. Have you guys seen that meme that says it was about this mom and she's like, oh my gosh, the fact that for the rest of my life, I'm going to be thinking about what goes with chicken, what goes with pork, what goes with ground beef. Like, do y'all feel that weight of meal planning for
Yes.
you?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm in the trenches of that now to where it's like that for some reason always overwhelms me. Do y'all have like any tips, tricks, knowledge?
No.
Okay.
I need the answer.
Okay. Because
sometimes it's just cereal for dinner.
hey,
Yes, and amen.
Hannah has Girl, yes. Okay, so Hannah has a notepad with meal ideas, and all of us are like,
Just whipped it out of nowhere.
I use this notebook for like different things.
Okay, so explain this to us. Is this something that you do a rotation with, or is this just
No, I wish I was that organized.
Okay.
I'm like, let's look on TikTok and see what recipe looks good that's 5 minutes and takes 3 ingredients.
That's
what
right.
can I throw in the crock pot?
I love that.
And then I like circle. Oh, I can find that on TikTok.
Okay, because I will save it and then I'll buy the ingredients for it. And then I don't know where I put it. Like, was it on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook? True. Did I screenshot it? Where is it? Oh, yeah. So I have this ingredients and not the recipe. Yeah.
So I saw one, I was asking my sister about that. I was like, I don't know why this overwhelms me. And she's like, I think all moms feel this way. And so I got a video sent to me about this mom. She has, it's, Monday through Sunday, and it's like different, not like categories each week. Like, I'm going to totally butcher this, but like Monday is like Crockpot Mondays, Tuesday is Taco Tuesdays, whatever. And then Fridays is like Fun Fridays. And it's just a list of like 20 different entrees that would fall under that category.
So it's like a bank you pull from.
Correct. And then she would have like all the recipes in the back of the notebook, and her kids could like circle and help with that. And I was like, we are in the noodle phase at our house. Anything with noodles and meat is a winner at our house.
That cereal is really serious around our part.
Breakfast. Brenner is a winner at our house.
Cereal for dinner. Okay. Yeah.
Whatever works. When we were talking about like practices, like t-ball practice, softball practice, or soccer, whatever, it's like, we're going to eat out and then we spend all this money. It was so convenient and fast. But if you have something in the crock pot and you're planned ahead, that's good too.
Yeah, I've actually seen a mom take her Instant Pot in the car.
Stop.
Like put it in the car with the practice gear, and we're like, we're not eating out. Yeah. But
I keep a notepad on my phone with recipe ideas, like from social media, with just a bunch of random links. But I did recently see where somebody's like, just cook all your meat on Sunday.
and then all you have to make is sides, which to me,
it's still decisions, but it's like, okay, the main part of it is done.
Yeah.
So like if I want to do canned green beans,
Right.
and some rice, that's pretty easy.
Decision fatigue is real.
That's what it is.
That's where I have it. And my husband was like, let's just pick like 20 staple meals and we just rotate that. But then my like creative mind is like, again, am I doing enough? I'm comparing myself to this mom who, you know, cuts out the little sandwiches as fish. And I'm like, girl, I ain't got time for that. Like you getting a PB&J every day of the week at school.
Or cereal.
That's right. Get a bag of cereal, okay?
and sometimes I do just text my friends like, what have you been making this week? So like, just give me something you've been making recently you like.
Yeah. 3 ingredients or less.
Oh, yeah. Throw it in the crock pot. Forget about it.
Crockpot meals, they're the best. Okay, so we're all in the trenches. So I do have a question. How do you and your husband prioritize your marriage when you both are physically and emotionally drained by the end of the day?
Timing is a huge thing, you know? So I think just being intentional with your time. And yes, there's going to be kids present, you know, whenever you have to spend, you know, you want to spend that one-on-one time. So if we go out to eat and the kids are with us, it's fine, but we're intentional with the conversations that we have and, you know, the activities we do as a family. And then if we need to stay up later to just chat and have that adult interaction, conversation, I feel like that's super important. So just being intentional with our time.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I think like not expecting like a picture perfect. We've got to go on a date night, you know, to like invest in each other. Like we're tired and we don't have time for it. We found ourselves with 4 kids, like feeling bad, asking anybody to keep our kids anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Like our parents are amazing about it. Like our moms really step in, but it's like, feel like we have to take one, put one somewhere and 2 here. So like, it's a lot. So it's just like finding the moments, whether it's like picking up a coffee after school drop off or like 15 minutes, like just talking and regrouping after the kids go to sleep, you know, or something like that. Just like finding the moments. And I think reminding ourselves that we're on the same team.
That's really good. Yeah.
We're not against each other, you know, like, although it feels like it sometimes, you know, it's not a competition of like who's more tired, you know, because we're both just tired. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think just like finding that, but also like love is a daily choice. Like, because sometimes you're not feeling it, you know, like you just have to choose to like push forward and, you know, so.
You know, that's really good.
That is.
I like that.
Yeah, that's very good.
It's not always going to look very romantic. And sometimes it really is just like the couch talks. After the kids go to bed. I feel like a lot of times that's our main way of getting to spend time together. And then also, I think it just does look different in different seasons, you know, in your seasons of littles. it can be a lot harder, like you said, to find a babysitter. And when we first had Jesse, we didn't live near family. So,
Where were you guys living?
Tennessee.
Okay.
And so to have help, we either had to pay for it or, try to ask somebody we really trusted. But even then, we felt bad asking them.
Yeah.
It's going to look different depending on what season you're in. And you just have to kind of give yourself grace for that. And to echo what Kelly said, like, your husband's not your enemy. They have your best interests at heart.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah.
And so just remembering that they are rooting for you and you're rooting for them at the end of the day. So
I saw a meme and it was like, remember that your husband's not your enemy. The kids are your enemy. You're against the children.
You're outnumbered.
Truly.
Truly. It's hilarious. I know one thing my parents we were probably, I don't know, maybe upper elementary, middle school. And I remember my parents they wouldn't go on trips all the time, but they would go on trips. And I used to be always mad at like, why are you leaving? And my mom gave me such good advice. She's like, well, one day you guys are going to be out of the house and I want to make sure I know who I'm living with. And so that's always been, I told Brianna, I was like, one day we will get to go on those trips. Yeah. But again, littles right now is not, but I think it's so good finding like just moments in the mundane. I know a friend told me about this trick and I've done it a couple of times with Brandon where I'm like, hey, you want to have a laundry folding party? You just get the laundry on the couch. And again, having those couch conversations of you're still actively doing something together, but you're able to like sit down and say, hey, like, how are you? Even though, our son is maybe out of the bed for the 5th time that night, you need a glass of water or something. It's like, you can still have those questions, but also still, for us moms, get that to-do list done, but still have quality time with your spouse. So I had a question. What would you say, thinking about a woman who's just had her first baby, what was probably the best piece of advice you ever got as a first-time mom or advice you would give to a first-time mom?
So something a mentor told me when we first had Jesse was that this child is only yours for a short time. And they actually belong to God before they belong to you.
Yeah.
And so just enjoy it, appreciate it, and just know that God loves that baby more than you ever could. And the other thing was let people help you. Yeah. I feel like first-time moms put so much pressure on themselves.
They don't want anybody to help them also because only they know what their baby needs. And it's just not true. It is not true. Let people help you. Obviously have discernment on who helps, but let people come over and do your laundry, cook a meal for you, hold your baby so you can just go take a nap.
I think that's really important is allowing people to love you.
You need help.
Yes. Giving yourself like so much grace. Like nobody knows what they're doing at first, even if they act like it, and I think that's where I got caught after the first baby was like, I wanted to seem like I had it all together. So like I didn't need to ask anybody, and that just falls into a whole different trap, so.
We're all just figuring it out. I can't tell you how many times moms told me that, girl, we're just figuring it out. And I'm like, are you though? And they're like, yeah, no, really, that's everybody is.
You just winging it. You think you got it figured out. And then, you're in the different season where like, now we're worried about this or we're worried about, so.
And I think some people think like, oh, I'm doing a disadvantage to my child if I don't do all this for them all the time. It's like, no, you're not, because you're going to be able to love them better because you had a break.
That's so good.
Yeah. Like you will be a better mom because you got 2 hours to yourself today.
Yeah.
Even if it's been a month, like just do what you can when you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
My advice would be to slow down. I mean, that's my personal journey though. With Mia, my oldest, when she was born, I was like, no, I can do this. And that was probably a pride thing.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
The first doctor's appointment, I was like, I'm going by myself. I got this. I'm going to, my husband was there available, obviously, but I'm like, I'm going to do it by myself. I don't need any help. And then I found myself feeling like overwhelmed, But obviously, I have a good support system. My mom stepped in, my sister, family did. But I think it took my second child, Ellie, for me to like really welcome that help, like Hallie was saying. And that's the biggest advice. And if you don't have a support system, I think just asking for help, because so many people want to, they just don't know like if they want to overstep or, asking for help is huge too.
Yeah. No, I definitely fell in that trap too. I feel like I had to do everything so much so. Y'all are going to be like, oh my gosh. When Jax was 3 months old, I flew by myself to Florida to visit my grandma. And oh my goodness, because that's a whole nother story in itself of just what happened on the plane. But I was like, oh, I got this. This is great. I can do it. But I think also in that pride, it kept me from allowing my husband to step in and do that stuff as well when he wanted to. But I was so prideful, like, oh, I've got it, or I can do it better. I've had years of babysitting. I felt like for him, it did hinder him a little bit because he was like, I don't want to overstep, but I also want, and it took me realizing like, wow, because of my pride, I'm keeping him from being able to do those kinds of things. So that was, especially with the second one now, I'm like, oh, I need all the
Welcome. Come one, come all. Come.
Please, if you want to come to my house and pull some laundry, absolutely.
We're always like, when can we come see the baby? And Matthew's response was always 3 a.m. Really? Yeah. He's being funny, of course, but yeah.
But also, like, if you want to come.
Yeah. And I can remember being like, oh, I don't want Jesse to watch a ton of TV.
Yeah.
You know, blah, blah, blah. Listen, when my kids go to their grandparents, that TV's on and it's not going to kill my child to watch some 2 hours of Coco Melon, you know, every now and then. And so letting go sometimes of certain expectations. Like moderation's okay. Let your grandparents spoil, you know, if you're lucky to have that, let them do it.
True.
Yeah. And two, like your kids see more than they hear. And your kids are only going to take care of themselves as much as you did. And I know we're in kind of an age of like self-care. So I don't want to go too like far down that rabbit hole because some of that's a little extreme. But like God does call us to rest, spend time with him, alone. And so like if you never do that, is your kid going to, I guess, is kind of, I try to remember that too.
Yeah.
Because they see more than what they hear from us.
Yeah. And they're very observant.
Yes.
Yeah. They see you getting a little bit stressed. They're like, what's wrong? My oldest, she's sensitive, but in a good way.
Yeah.
You know, she's very in tune with like emotions.
Yeah.
She's like, are you okay? She'll put her hand on me. I'm like, I'm absolutely fine.
It's like, Mom, do you need to go take a seat? Do you need to like take a chill? But I'm like, yes, Mommy does need to take a seat.
My first is a lot like that. Like later in the day, she'll be like, I'm sorry, Kellen wasn't listening.
Oh my gosh. So you guys have kind of mentioned about support system, but how vital has community been in your motherhood journey? And what would you say to a mom who is struggling to find just a safe, supportive group or just a mom group?
So again, I feel like I'm a broken record, but ask for help. You know, ask for an invitation. Sometimes if you just insert yourself, you know, somewhere, that's fine too. I think with family, obviously, you have that community. If you're blessed with that, having, you know, a sister and having a brother and a mom and, you know, in-laws that really check in, but also church family too is major. And I think, you know, since going to the orchard, the small group has really, a lot of us are mothers that go to small group, and that's just a way to kind of build that community and feed that community. But, you know, if you're not plugged into a church, if you're listening and you're not plugged into a church, I would say definitely find one. And even if you're, you know, looking for a community of moms, ask around because that could help you so much.
Especially to have someone that's like, hey, this is what I'm going through. Especially, I think a biblical soundboard is definitely where we want to go. Because obviously you're going to get opinions from anyone and everyone, but I feel like you're going to get the best advice from someone who is biblically sound, who is also, you know, has, you know, shares the same values as you. So I think some of our best relationships have always been found in community, whether it's like people you serve with on Sundays, the small group, whatever it is, like finding the people that you do life with that like can pour into you. And do you guys have any like older mentors or any like younger mentor, like people that y'all mentor? I think that's been really important too, is finding that like person who's older, who's been through them seasons, but also think it is good. Some of the Branford moms talked about finding women who are also in the same season of life as you, that way you can like, you know, bounce ideas off of and stuff. What about you ladies? How has community been, you know, a vital part of your motherhood journey?
So big advocate for that, finding a friend. And I would say, number one, put yourself out there. Make it awkward, but be willing to be in awkward situations over and over again, because usually it just takes a little time until you can kind of click with someone. And sometimes it's not going to be that deep of a friendship. Sometimes it's just the company that you need and another mom that's in it too. I've almost been staying home now for a year, and I was really nervous because I'm like, I live in Jennings. There's not even a red light here. What stay-at-home mom am I going to hang out with here? What are we going to do? There's nothing here. And a friend told me about Momco. It used to be Moms of Preschoolers, but First Baptist in Live Oak, there may be one here, I'm not sure, told me about that. They meet twice a month. There's childcare, and you get to sit at a table, do a devotion, and like just have time to be with other moms. And most of those moms, we're not going to hang out with each other outside of that.
but it's just a time to be around other women. Through that, I have met some friends that stay home who I do really click with, and we are getting close.
Yeah.
And one of the friends, her husband literally told mine, like, hey, I know your wife's a stay-at-home mom. You seem normal. I think we're normal. We should set them up to hang out. And so we call it like our first blind date. Where we just met at the park. I'm like, she didn't know me. I didn't know her. So we were like, we'll see how this goes. And it worked great.
Yeah.
But community is everything. But the biggest thing is you really just have to seek it out and be willing to be in a little discomfort and be vulnerable.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, I need a friend. So I would say, and mentors, I prayed really hard to find a mentor and seek that out. And there are some great women at the Orchard that want to love on mamas.
Yeah.
Seek them out. They're there. That's really big because you want somebody with wisdom. And two, I found that pouring into someone younger than me as well has been really filling. And it gives you a different sense of community and purpose.
Yeah.
So I've also found in the last year, you're not always going to have the bandwidth for that, especially in the season. But I found that was also very rewarding community as well.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, definitely community is huge. I think just like being around other people that remind you you're not alone. Like,
Right.
you know, and like back to the first time mom thing too, is like I kind of like isolated myself. Not sure if it was on purpose or I thought I was protecting my kid or what. Or like we were kind of the first in our friend group that like had babies, you know? Yeah. And then 10 months in, COVID hit. And so then I was really at home.
Yeah.
And it wasn't good. It wasn't great, you know?
Yeah.
And so like a lot of postpartum set in then. So like when I had Kellen, our second, I made a point, even if like I got us ready and we just sat in the car, you know, like get out of the house, you know, like go get a coffee. My friend had opened a nutrition club in Live Oak months before I had Kellen. I would just go sit up there for hours just to like, even if I wasn't talking to anybody, just to like be around like your civilization, you know? And I think that really like was healing.
Yeah.
You know, like it really helps you like get out. So.
Well, as we kind of wrap up and close our conversation, do you ladies have anything else you would love to share with our listeners today, or any like books or resources that have been beneficial to you in your walk with the Lord?
Yes. Some Bible studies I highly recommend. Anything Priscilla Schreier. Go for it.
Good. Yeah.
The Armor of God, Discerning the Voice of God. Those are huge because everybody needs to know that. And she just does a great job. And another one is something that helped me with my identity and salvation. If that's kind of where you're at, Victory Over the Darkness, Neil T. Anderson. I think every believer should read that as well. It was great. But as far as like motherhood specifically, I'm sure many people have heard Focus on the Family. They're very short podcasts. They have one on marriage, on parenting. Those are always great. And they're usually pretty short to listen to. So no matter how chaotic your life is, those are great. And something I discovered recently was Raising Boys and Girls. It's Sissy Goff. And I can't remember David's last name, but it's based in Tennessee. Incredible. Great books, great resources. It's Christian faith-based. That has been my go-to recently. And a great mom book that's just good advice. I wouldn't say this does not replace the Word of God.
Yeah.
And so take things with discernment, but it really is a great book. It's by Meg Meeker. It's called The 10 Habits of Happy Mothers. It's all about reclaiming your passion, purpose, and sanity. Read it. Or just look up a podcast with Meg Meeker when she talks about it. I think it's really good. It's very practical, and every mom will relate to what she says. It's really good.
Girl, you had like a whole, I'm trying to like type all these. I may have to have you text them to me because I'm like, man, Hallie's on fire. I'm like, again, not to be in the comparison trap, but I'm like, man, Hallie be listening to something.
I don't always finish them, and I'm a skim reader, but I had this bad habit of like, if I'm struggling with something, there's got to be a book that's going to fix it.
Yeah, that's good.
And so I wouldn't say it's always the best thing, because it's like, sometimes you just need to chill, spend time with God, and, you know, call it a day.
Yeah.
But I'm going to find a book to fix it. So
I love that though.
you know, and it's taken me a while to go through those things. This wasn't all in the last 6 months. Full disclosure.
Yeah, I love it. What about you ladies? Any resources or things you want to just share with our listener before we close today?
When we were talking about community earlier, a thought came to mind. It, like, even if you don't have kids, other people do need community, you know, and if you do see a new mom and maybe you don't have, you know, they do need help. So maybe it takes you stepping out of your comfort zone and saying, how can I help you? Or just bringing them a meal, or, you know, when I first had Mia, she's now 6. I remember very specifically, like, I did want to ask for help, going back to the pride thing. But, obviously my mom, my sister, they stepped in, my husband, obviously. But my sister's friend who lives in Alachua drove all the way to Live Oak. It was pouring raining. She had 4 kids at the time. And she brings me a meal and just left. Wow. And I'm like, did you come all the way over to Live? I didn't even know she was coming. Yeah. She's like, yeah, because somebody did this for me. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah. That left an impact on me. Yeah. So I think out of all of this, a takeaway is people need community. And if they don't ask for it, that's probably when they need it the most, So,
yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I think just to kind of like round it all out is like motherhood and marriage are both hard. Mm-hmm. And one of the enemy's greatest lies is that you're alone. This is big in marriage. When I talk to wives, they're like, oh, you made me feel better. I didn't know that other people went through this, and like just finding people that you can surround yourselves to know like you're not alone, and marriage is hard. Yeah. And like, you need that sounding board and that biblical advice, too, because it doesn't get any easier way. Add babies into it, so just you're not alone. And that grows in darkness, like thinking you are.
Yeah. That's why I love, like I said, before moving back here, I didn't know Momcast was even like a thing. And so that's why I love most about it. That's why I, love for the month of July, we were able to spend 4 weeks and get different voices from different locations, because I think so often women are afraid to be vulnerable because it's like, oh, we're not being that super mom. We're not being that super woman that can do everything. But I think this is kind of breaking just the barrier of that, of like, wow, you can still be vulnerable and still be a great mom and a daughter of Christ. And they all go hand in hand. Yeah. But the fact is, we all, as we have heard today, we all have gone through the same struggles. Like momming isn't easy. And being a wife isn't easy because, like you said, Kelly, it's a daily choice. And our flesh just does not want to make that choice sometimes. So that's why I'm so thankful, like the month of July, we were able to, sit down and just kind of hear different perspectives and stuff. But man, ladies, this was a good conversation. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, thank you for listening to our Live Oak Momcast. Next week, we will sit down with 4 ladies from our Lake City location. But in the meantime, we just pray that you have a great week, and we'll catch you next week. Have a good one. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Let's Talk About That. We hope it encouraged and challenged you as we continue to grow on this journey of faith and embrace community together. If you have more questions, thoughts, or feedback, we want to hear from you. Be sure to reach out to us through our social media or visit our website to stay connected. If you found today's discussion meaningful, don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a review. Until next time, we hope that this episode inspired you and will keep Sunday's message at the front of your mind. See you next week.